Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus post week one of the Iowa High School football season. We're powered by Fairway Food Stores. Next week, Jack, I'm going to ask you who we're powered by, and you're going to say
Fairway Food Stores. I'm going to say Fairway Food Stores.
Fairway Food Stores, and all of the other ads that pop on the screen. You got Andy Kressinger, you got Jack Knowlton, you got Peter Camp on the ones and twos. We're going to talk a little high school athletics. I can't see Jack again, so if he makes faces, I couldn't do anything about it. Just find out tomorrow when I'm watching the show. By the way, Jack, do you know why our lovely viewers are luckier than us today?
Why are our lovely viewers luckier than us today?
Because they're living in NFL football season because this comes out on Thursday.
That's true.
So they're living in a day where there's an NFL game going on.
Should we end the show with like a Super Bowl pick or something?
Yeah, let's do that. That'd be a great idea. I love that.
All right.
We did that for NBA playoffs. We did that. That was fun.
I think I guess contributed to that because I was technically around then. I wasn't on the show yet,
really?
But I think Peter asked for mine.
You were just in the room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll give some Super Bowl picks. Block C will be some Super Bowl picks. Block A, we're going to talk a little football. Now, Jack was out. This weekend. I'll be out this next weekend. So this is a crazy first 2 weeks. It's never happened in the history of the Southeast Iowa Union, probably. No, definitely. I've been here the whole history. Where one sports guy's out one weekend. You know what I'm doing this weekend, Jack? Is I'm officiating a wedding.
Yeah, that's high pressure. Are you nervous?
I'm less nervous and more it's Iowa State grads and it's the day of the Cyhawk game, so I'm more nervous that Iowa State's going to be. What time does the Iowa State-Iowa game kick off?
Yeah, what time's the wedding? Let's see. I'll look it up.
At like 2 or 3.
Oh, so the Iowa State game's before. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's what I'm more worried about.
So it's going to be like just getting done when the wedding starts. There's surely going to be people on their phones like watching that.
100%. It's my wife's cousin's wedding, and at my wife's cousin's weddings, Iowa's 1-0 against Iowa State because this happened once before. No, I didn't officiate it, but this happened once before where I was watching the Cyhawk game from the reception. So, by the way, can I just say, maybe as a biased Iowa Hawkeye fan growing up and stuff, and I like to think now in my media days I'm less biased, but the fact that people are ripping on Gronk Tebow, as I like to call him, Mark Gronowski. I'm trying to get that nickname going because they just kept calling him Tebow over and over again when he was running through Albany. I think because he had kind of a bad game and he's getting ripped on it. I actually think Iowa is going to win. I think he's going to have like 3 rushing touchdowns or something, and they're going to win like 21-20.
I talked to an Iowa fan yesterday, and it was not our producer Peter, but it was somebody else, and he was not happy.
Yeah, because it was a slow. I mean, it should be. It's funny because we always get hyped up, and then when they actually play, because but like his passing stats sucked, and he didn't really throw the ball very well. But like I just feel like it's going to be one of those grinded out games, and it's going to be one of those things where we're just going to get 4 or 5 yards at a time. How hurt is Kamari Moulton? Does anybody know?
No clue.
I think he's
Peter shaking his head. He'd be the one to know.
Probably. That's a big one, but I don't know. I think we're going to be all right. By the way, no eye black today. I did make sure to pay very close attention to the Nebraska and Iowa games, see if either of our former high school athletes scored a touchdown. They did not. We're going to talk a little high school football, which I was at the Washington Mid-Prairie game, Jack. And by the way, it's very hard. So the only other Jack I interact with in my life, Jack, is my 3-year-old's friend from daycare, Jack, and he's younger than my 3-year-old. He's like 1, and so we call him Jackie Boy. And so I see him every single day and say, "Hi, Jackie Boy, what's going on, Jackie Boy?" And so then I have to stop myself from calling you Jackie Boy because it's just natural for me.
You can do that. I won't.
Jackie Boy, it's great. Adorable kid. So Washington Mid-Prairie, this is the first time they've played since 2017. Washington was riding a 7-game win streak in the series. Of course, none of the kids that are played then. But Mid-Prairie came in ranked number 6. And the first few minutes of the game, Jack, I was standing up, so I spent one half on the Mid-Prairie sideline, one half on the Washington sideline. I was on the Mid-Prairie sideline for the first few minutes, and there were a little worries because Washington came out. I'll just say the final score first off, so I don't have to keep people waiting. It was 50-34, probably the highest scoring game in that series. I'll have to go back and check on that. 50-34, Mid-Prairie does win, but Washington was up 22-6 at one point. They marched down the field, scored. Kick return got fumbled. Carson Ryan didn't even scoop it up. It popped in the air, grabbed it like this. Washington scores again. That's 15-0. Kel Williams with the throwing and a passing touchdown on this. Then it's 15-6 after a Hudson Ehrenfeld touchdown, and Ryan again, about a 90-yard return to the end zone. Another special teams play for Washington. Wow. 22-6. And the Demon sidelines were rocking. It was looking really good for them, especially because they were, when I say marching, they were they were doing it mostly on the ground, and I think it took a little bit of time for Mid-Prairie to kind of get their feet under them. But it looked like, oh man, how are they going to stop Washington? But one thing stayed consistent about Mid-Prairie football is that Hudson Ehrenfeld was pretty much unstoppable. So when they weren't fumbling the kickoff return, they were scoring. They scored over and over and over. Ehrenfeld eventually tied it up at 22-22 with a punt return touchdown. He said that last year people stopped, because he got the interview after the game. He said that people had stopped kicking to him last year, so it had been a while since he got one. I'm gonna guess that people are gonna stop kicking to him again. But Tommy Miller put the Golden Hawks up 29-22 with a touchdown run at halftime. And then in the second half, Mid-Prairie's offense just kept going. By the way, Ryan Henry had a punt block that set up that touchdown before halftime. Nolan Juergens had a couple of touchdown catches, including one that eventually made it 43-22. So they had a 21-point lead at one point. Washington did score back and recovered the onside kick, so they were down 2 scores with the ball. Liam Roberts had a 46-yard reception touchdown, but picked off in the end zone, and on the other end, Ehrenfeld put the dagger down. There were 2 touchdowns that kind of pushed the over even more over in the last 2:30, but Hudson Ehrenfeld runs for 3 touchdowns, kick return for 1. He was our player. He was my interview, which I guess is the player of the game. Washington's offense, he was the de facto player of the game by way of getting the interview. Washington's offense looked really good. Mid-Prairie's got a lot of good kids on defense. Leading tackler back Caden Koss from last year. They had a few mistakes, but Mid-Prairie, man, I'll tell you what, Ehrenfeld looked good, and then so Brooks Weber is the younger brother of the quarterback last year, Brady Weber, and he looked like his brother. They let him, they do some play action or whatever where he's running around. They let him sling the ball downfield. They didn't play it safe with him. He looked good. So Mid-Prairie now off to Alburnett 1-0. Then they have the big Sigourney Keota game 1 week after. So Mid-Prairie looked good, Mr. Jack. Mr. Jackie boy.
I was curious to see how Caleb Williams was going to do for Washington at QB. Looks like he had a solid enough game, and I guess that's something to build off too with the 22-6 start. But yeah, Mid-Prairie. A 50 burger in your first game is, it's probably no better way to get a season started. So and Brady Weber, that seems like a good sign for Mid-Prairie if he keeps it up.
It does. I'll say so for people who, for all you, the very few people that haven't been paying attention to high school football. Cale Williams was the running back last year for Washington. He did very good on with his legs. He went over 100, and the handoffs were working at first. I think Mid-Prairie just figured out, the handoffs were going for kind of gap yards in the first 2-ish drives. Afterwards, Mid-Prairie was able to hold it down. And so Washington gets a loss to start. They will be all the way over at Independence, which is a tough team. I need to read through our rankings before I post them. I believe they jumped into the rankings. I think I ranked them. So a tough one for Washington. Washington does not have an easy road here in the non-district. And speaking of non-district, this was kind of fun. So, I mean, Mid-Prairie's been one of our best football teams since Darren Lambert took over a couple years ago. This is his first non-district win because they stacked their non-district schedule so harshly that Mid-Prairie had not won in the non-district. Before.
Wow.
Yeah, that surprised me. He's the one who told me that. That definitely surprised me. And so pretty cool that they were able to get that. I mean, I see Mid-Prairie going far this year. They're going to be probably at the end of the year when it's freezing cold and we're talking about our last team standing. I'm going to guess that Mid-Prairie is going to be one of them.
Ooh, there's a bold prediction for the season, folks. Write that down.
Bold prediction. Write that down. Write it in stone. Now we had, so Washington was at Mid-Prairie. So Southeast Iowa Live only does the Washington home games, as you know, Jack, because you're the voice of that thing. But Mount Pleasant Live.
We'll get to that, by the way.
We will. Mount Pleasant Live kicks off its inaugural season of football, volleyball coverage, and other sport. The Mount Pleasant Panthers hold off a very talented Mediapolis team, 17-14. It's a Mediapolis team that was a playoff team last year, and that could be a playoff team this year. Definitely a force to be reckoned with. Defense all the way. So Mediapolis scored on their first drive, and the offense after that didn't score again. They did score on a kick return touchdown, but Mount Pleasant defense kind of stifles Mediapolis. Offensively, the stats definitely weren't. If you look at the stats of Mid-Prairie Washington game and then you look over at the Mount Pleasant stats, you see two totally different kinds of games. Grayson Walker was making his first start as QB1 for the Panthers. 10 for 16, good completion percentage, 144 yards and a touchdown. And then rushing the ball as a team, Mount Pleasant only had 85 yards. Ramsey Davis had 55 of those, and Griffin Jones scored. Leading receivers Brody Clark and Caden Schott. But the big story was the defense, and there were a couple of huge plays, a couple of interceptions, one each by Jack Newman and Brody Clark. And then the play of the game happened. Mount Pleasant was up 3. Shout out Dylan White, one of the more consistent kickers that we cover. So they're up 3.
Good soccer player as well.
Good soccer player as well. And his mom is my oldest kid's teacher. Fun fact.
There you go.
Trivia for you. So they're up 17-14 because he was able to kick a short field goal, 24 yards. But Mediapolis had the ball past the 50-yard line with like 2 minutes left. And, last year, Mount Pleasant was a little slower on the back end. And so they bull rushed a lot because they just tried to get to the quarterback, before he could get it out. This year, I think they're going to be a lot better at pass coverage, but on this particular play, Tate Dorothy gets into the backfield, forces a fumble. Keegan Heaton scoops it up. That ended Mediapolis' drive with, and you can go watch this on Mount Pleasant Live, with about 2.5 minutes left. But Mediapolis had all 3 timeouts, so they did get one last shot at it and turned it over on downs. They had to do they had to check it deep, but a very entertaining game because I went back. Anything that's streamed, I just go back and watch after my game is done. And big one for Mount Pleasant, they had not won a game in like 3 years until the beginning of last year's season. Went 4-4, Jack, and now for 2 straight years they open up the year with a win. So good sign for the Panthers.
Yeah, that's good. It's not shocking. They had some good returners on defense. I know Brody Clark was pretty good last year. Isaiah Lang, I think, was like second in sacks or maybe led them in sacks as like a true freshman. Max Sloat's good. So yeah, Newman getting the interception, getting those 2 picks is big for them. So yeah, maybe a sign that their defense could be one of the best in the SEC. We'll have to see. But 27 tackles, it looks like, as a team. Just the 2 sacks, but they got the 2 forced fumbles. 1 forced fumble, 2 interceptions. I mean, 3 takeaways. That's like, you always hear that with coaches. They always want to create those like turnovers, and a bunch of tackles is great. But to get the 3 takeaways, I think is a good sign for Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, that's big, and and doing stuff in pass coverage is a major turning point because, as I said, they're a bigger physically team They've got a big offensive line, and they've got good pass rushers. A lot of the stuff they did last year, like a lot of the good stuff in their close wins, were because of the pass rush. But they'd get burned every once in a while in coverage, and looked like the coverage was solid. And I'll tell you what, Mediapolis they have some good. Noah Schmigdahl is the guy who returned the kick. That kid is fast, and if you go back and watch that replay, he just absolutely darts through Mount Pleasant. One of us will be seeing Mediapolis in a couple weeks, I believe, because that is Fairfield's homecoming opponent in 2 weeks. So not the last we've heard of Mediapolis. And by the way, Mount Pleasant Panthers will be at the Knoxville Panthers this Friday. See that?
There
that
it
was
is.
Appropriate. That was appropriate because when I was in high school, we hated Knoxville. But I'll tell you what, they have a cool field. So Mount Pleasant players feel happy that you get to play on Knoxville's field, which they tried to tear down Knoxville's field like 10 years ago, Jack.
What's like the detail with their field?
The coolest thing, so it's in a little bowl, so it's down low. And they have the Knoxville water tower that overlooks it. So not only is it in a bowl, but you look up when you're on the field, and like the water tower is towering over you. So it's just cool. They were gonna tear it down, and people were like, "What? That's like one of the coolest." Like, there's 2 cool things about Knoxville. There's the Knoxville Raceway, and there's the football field. And they had these signs that said "SOS, Save Our Stadium," and they put them all over town, and it was a big thing.
That's awesome.
That Panthers.
That is pretty cool, actually. It is in a little, it's like in a hole in the ground, kind of.
I would, if you asked what my favorite field in Iowa is, and of course our teams almost never play over at Knoxville, so it's a rare. Fairfield played them a few years ago. Fairfield is kind of the team that's a little over there, so they'll play some of those Des Moines area teams. But that also might be hard to keep track of. Similar colors. I'm colorblind, so everything's pretty much similar colors to me, but similar colors on the Panthers. So
there you go.
By the way, Knoxville. Speaking of. So Knoxville played Centerville last week, Jack, and Centerville put up 56. That is who Jack Nolte will be watching in Fairfield this weekend. And speaking of the Trojans, a loss for Fairfield this week. And you can go back and watch the stream because Atonwa Radio had this one, and I watched it. And they were down 2 points at halftime to a ranked Benton squad on the road, an hour and a half north. Actually, it freaked me out because I was looking up how long they drove, thinking it was going to be like 2.5 hours because Benton is far away. And then I realized that you just go up north. Like Benton in the longitude line, Benton is here and Fairfield's right here, so it's not actually that far. But Van Horn is the town they played in. 29-12 Benton over Fairfield. As I said, it was 14-12 at halftime. Fairfield is back to their old ways. Last year, Jack, they totally revamped their offense. You'll see that this Friday, where they run like a tight wing formation with 3 running backs, and the clock burns, and they don't throw it too much. And they've got a lot of kids back that ran the ball last year for them. One of them is Ethan Bisgard, who led them in rushing, 57 yards and 2 touchdowns, also led them in tackles. And I talked to his grandfather last night. Grandfather or uncle, I forget. And he mentioned to me that Bisgard never left the field the entire game. He played every single play. And so we have a few I feel like it used to be more common. These days, I feel like, Jack, I don't know what you do if you're a high school football coach, but I feel like there's a lot more, guys who are just offense or just defense these days, maybe. Or maybe I just went to a smaller school, so I was, so everybody played both ways. I don't know.
Right. I mean, I feel like if there's a trend, it'll probably reemerge. Everyone wants to be Travis Hunter, so.
You're right, it will. Yeah, it's true. You got your Travis Hunters out there. He proves that you can just play the whole time. By the way, would you ever draft him in fantasy football?
No, not this year. I think there's a lot of deep wide receivers, and him having to play DB scares me. I need to see it for a year before I buy in.
I agree. I didn't get it. I'm in a couple leagues. I never drafted him, and he was very high on the board. And I was like, what if he just plays defense? What if he starts just playing defense?
Right.
That was
I think there's a possibility he plays just more defense than wide receiver.
yeah, right. And so, although I did see he got bowled, did he get bowled over? Or he got his ankles broken by Caleb Johnson in one of those preseason games.
There you go.
Anyway, back to Fairfield. So as I mentioned, they don't pass it a lot. Voss Richardson, another returning quarterback, just threw it 10 times, completed 6 for 92 yards. So Fairfield 0-1, but again, Benton ranked, Benton good. Fairfield, I think, looks sneaky strong because last year, their last 5 games, they were playing really good teams. They were in a tougher district than Mount Pleasant and Washington last year. Of course, they're all in the same one today. So it'd be very interesting when they play Centerville on Friday night to see if that offense can. I don't know. I guess it's more of a test on the defense since Centerville just scored 56 against Knoxville. So I think you're going to see a close game, Jack. It just feels like it might be a battle.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you mentioned Biscardi had 11 and a half tackles on defense too. They had 37 and a half as a team. So if they can step up, they had some other good returners too on defense. I know Zandrick Allison, who is also good at running back, came back for them. I think had 24 tackles last year, and a couple of other ones. I think they had a junior linebacker. Oh yeah, Blake Barnett, Calvin McLean. They also came back. They were both up over 20 tackles a year ago. So they have the guys to do it. They have the experience to do it. Again, it's just if that offense can establish itself, because that's, like you said, it can be they can grind a team out. And if there's a style that can slow down a team that just put up 56 points in a game, it's probably Fairfield's.
I agree. And they have gotten good at doing it because I covered the first game they ever pulled it out was the Mount Pleasant Fairfield game to start last year. And, it wasn't quite, I think they outgained Mount Pleasant, but it wasn't quite working the way that it could. And by the time it really got going, their schedule last year was so back-ended with teams like Benton, and I think Solon was on there, either Solon or Assumption. And so they were having kind of close games with these really good teams, but they weren't beating them. And now this year, the schedule is a little different, and a lot of these kids have played in this offense. So yeah, should be I'm very interested to see where Fairfield's offense ends up at the end of the year, but they got a lot of experience running it. So there you go. Mount Pleasant wins. Fairfield and Washington both lose to ranked teams. Mid-Prairie wins, which Mid-Prairie would normally be in this little segment that Jack's about to talk about the small schools, but they're playing one of our bigger schools. But Jack, tell me how all of our small school football teams, as I try and refocus my camera, did this weekend.
Yeah, in the 8-man ranks, I'll go through just a quick rundown. Winfield and Mount Union lost their first game of the season. They scored on their first drive, but lost 59-22 to Easton Valley. Cody Milks, 175 yards and a touchdown for Winfield. Mount Union. Waco looked real good. Crushed Central City. They beat them 49-0. And then, of course, Winfield, Mount Union, and Waco will play this week in the 8-man ranks. So two of our kind of area teams matching up. New London and Cardinal played. That was a bit of a nail-biter. New London won 36-32. And the stat of the day, London Franklin, 207 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground in the win. That is just absurd. Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry level numbers from Franklin. They were ridiculous. Pekin also had a blowout win. They beat Davis County 40-7. Riley Smith, first game at starting QB, 147 yards, 3 tutties for him. Columbus fell to BGM 47-14. Decent game or decent performance for Columbus. They will match up, I believe, with another area team. I'm blanking on the name. I have to look at my notes again. Van Buren County.
Yeah, that's right, because the Class A district starts this week, and 8-man, which is different, but they're the two smallest classes and it starts. So here we go.
So they'll get rolling. Highland is still looking for their first touchdown. They lost 13-0 to Martinsdale. Same areas. Good game for the Highland defense, but just need to get the scoring going. I mentioned Van Buren County. They lost to Central Lee, who 28-8. They were down 28-0. Got a lone touchdown in the fourth quarter. So just have to get it going a little bit earlier. Did have a takeaway in that game. And then a bit of a ranked matchup. PCM beat Sigourney Keota 47-18. That was number 7 in Class 2A against number 8 in Class 1A. Sigourney Keota within 8 points at halftime couldn't pull out the win. and Chase Clarahan had a 63-yard touchdown pass, I believe, and a decent game for Sigourney Keota, but looking for a win in week 2. So there you go. Small school roundup for our area teams.
Yeah, SK, Sigourney Keota, they, just like Mid-Prairie, they stack their non-district schedule, and it's very fun when they play each other. They'll play each other week 3. I was impressed with a few. Waco and Pekin were the ones where they were good last year. They were playoff teams last year, and you thought, especially Pekin, because their quarterback, Will the Thrill Adam, last year was so good. You thought, well, are they, even though they still got some names back, are they still going to be able to put up points? But clearly they can. And then Waco, you won't see very many shutouts with 8-player football. So exciting. We got 1 week. We figured out something for 1 week. Eventually, stuff will start making sense, but we got 1 week of data. When we come back here on Southeast Iowa Prep Sports Plus, we're going to talk a little volleyball. Jack, with his first SEC volleyball matchup last night. We got rivalry, Mount Pleasant, Washington. I was in Fairfield, so stick with us.
Introducing Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every meal is a delight. Start your day with our mouthwatering breakfast options and savor flavorful lunches with friends and family. Cap off your day with our delectable dinners. Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every moment is delicious.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
At WCHC, our goal is to take great care of our patients and our staff.
We are able to approach you, take care of your issues, but also give you a path, as far as referrals or treating you right then and there.
Our role in the community is taking care of something that matters to everyone. It's their family and their health.
More than you expect for your health care.
Welcome back, Southeast Iowa Prep Sports Plus, powered by Fairway, and all the ads that you see on your screen. Jack! Whoa, my voice cracked. I don't know why my voice should be cracking, because Jack's voice should be cracking, because he called the Mount Pleasant and Washington volleyball game last night on Southeast Iowa Live. Renewal of the unnamed rivalry, which for some reason we have a name for. Jack, tell me what happened last night at Washington High School.
Yeah, it was very, very fun atmosphere, first of all, to call. Happy to be back on the mic this fall. That was the first game for us. Live this season, I believe, in any of the fall sports. And we will have all the volleyball home games, all of the Washington home football games as well. It's fun. We're expanding into Mount Pleasant, but it was super fun. Obviously, it was built up to be a rivalry. This is my first experience of that rivalry, and it lived up. The Mount Pleasant fans traveled. The students came. They did both student sections did themes. Mount Pleasant was in construction vests and the neon green and orange. Washington was on the polar opposite side of the gym. They did a jersey theme. They had the W flag, and they were exchanging chants back and forth. They did some of the classic ones. They did a couple that I think were kind of targeted that I am not privy to the backstory of, but you love that you love that to get a little bit personal. And but on the court, I mean, it was. I don't want to say anything but competitive, because that's doing a disservice to Mount Pleasant, because they did play fairly well, but Washington. After kind of a rough outing in that Grinnell varsity tournament, their first one of the year, they came out and won 3-0, beat Mount Pleasant 3 sets to nothing. It was 25-18, 25-23, and then 25-21. So Mount Pleasant kind of tried to dig themselves in the hole, but this is a really good outing for Washington. Like I said, they kind of struggled in that Grinnell tournament. They played some good teams, lost to Decorah, Clear Creek, Amanda, Xavier. They beat Carlisle, and then they also lost to West Liberty. And I talked to Taylor Minch after the game, and she mentioned, that they learned a lot from that tournament and kind of found their groove. And it sure looked like it against Mount Pleasant. They came out firing, I think, went up 3 or 4 to nothing in every set. And that really kind of set the tone. Their net, it was super good. They Obviously Leighton Messenger did her thing. She had 12 kills. She's kind of a step above. We were talking before the show, just kind of everyone when Washington plays. I was really impressed with Reagan Miller, too, their setter. She's just a sophomore. She had 40 assists. That was a season high for her. The net play was really good. Layla Green, who led them in blocks as a sophomore last year, led them again last night. That was what Coach Aaron Six, who we talked to after the game as well, which you can watch both those interviews. We interviewed him and Taylor together after the game. He kind of talked about that the net play was just the difference. They kind of were able to set up some one-on-ones on the outside by just kind of winning the battle at the net. And that was evident. Mount Pleasant's a good team, but I think this was a bit of a statement win for Washington, honestly, just given the nature of the rivalry. Mount Pleasant was 5-2 coming into this game. They also played in that tournament and had a little bit better of a showing. So I think this was a pretty good prove-it victory for Washington, who, obviously want to challenge what looks like Burlington, who's 8-1, I believe, to start the year in the SEC. So this is a really good win. Another player I'll highlight, Ellie Farmer was good as well. She's wearing the libero jersey in that game, 18 digs that led the team. She was really good defensively. Had one where she almost dove into the seats to save one, and Washington ended up winning the point. And it was just like some of those effort plays are really evident. They were definitely fueled by their student section. It was a rowdy atmosphere, and they did a fun on the court celebration too with the students. And they all ran out and did it was a little choreographed dance thing, and that was fun. So some good energy for Washington in game one. And Mount Pleasant, like I said, they didn't get necessarily outclassed in this game. I think they just fell behind early, and Washington didn't let them dig out of the hole. I think it was less of a bad look for Mount Pleasant, more just I think Washington kind of came out and made a statement at home. So big win, 3-0 for Washington. They play in another tournament this weekend. They're home again, so you'll hear us live on Monday against Mid-Prairie. So a little inter-county, I guess, rivalry for that game. But they go to this weekend. It is Anamosa, the Anamosa tournament. So they'll be there this weekend and then back home against Mid-Prairie. But a good win. It was a very fun game to call.
Yeah, they. I just had to look this up because you got me curious. Washington now in that rivalry has won. Whoops, clicked out of it.
Oh, it's their 8th straight, I think.
8th straight in that rivalry. It was
7th or 8th.
High school sports. So a lot of times, you have these streaks one way or the other, and Mount Pleasant had won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. Now Washington 8 in a row. So interesting. I think that was more of it's like a we're still on top type game, and because Washington did lose some good seniors last year. Now you bring back the player of the year in the conference,
right?
And I would say Layla Green is one of the best players at the net, one of the best jumpers. So you have a few of the best just natural leapers in this game, with Clark and Scott for Mount Pleasant, and then those two.
I was going to say they both looked good as well, and it was it seemed like Mount Pleasant got stuck out of a couple of rotations because Clark had to sit she was in the back row for a large portion of that first set, and they could not get her to the outside where she obviously preferred to be. It was clear, so they kind of struggled with that a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's more of it's kind of a learning to win the big games versus the team that did learn to win the big games last year. So that'll be fun when they match up in the conference tournament. Of course, they both have to play Fairfield at some point this year. Now Mount Pleasant actually beat Fairfield a couple times in that Grinnell tournament. Mount Pleasant was definitely the team of the weekend where you were oh, look at that, coming out winning 5 of their first 6. Now Fairfield, I saw already this year. I saw them at their triangular with Waco and Eddyville Blakesburg Fremont, which Fairfield did not lose a set in that one. They had one bad set against Fort Madison last night. First set, 25-21. It was a very close 25-21. I think Fairfield scored the last three points. Then Fort Madison wins the next one 25-19. So it's 1-1, and Fort Madison scored 20 total points in the next 2 games. Fairfield absolutely kicked it on. They did something similar when I watched them play against in the Waco Eddyville tournament, where Waco almost stole one from them. And then from then on, it was all Fairfield. Trojans in 4. By the way, this used to be Fort Madison and Fairfield at one point, like 7 years ago, this was the SEC championship. They were so much better than everybody else. Nowadays, it's way more competitive. But 13 kills from Leah Helmick. You remember her from softball season. I think she is going to be one of the leading killers in the SEC this year. But Fairfield is very, very balanced in their hitting. Maddie Martin with 9 kills. Jaden Haynes with 10 kills. Natalie Steele with 9 kills. So they just have so many girls that they go to. And Faith Jones is maybe our best setter, or one of our top 2 or 3 best setters in the whole Union area. And she's got a lot of weapons. And so it just never really feels like in the games that I've watched, of course, we just said they lost a couple this weekend, a couple to Mount Pleasant. But when Fairfield plays, they just seem more in a flow than the other teams. Like Fort Madison got really stuck on rotation. And I mean, when you have that many good hitters, Fairfield, some of those hitters sit out for a while and they come in fresh. And, they don't have – Leah Helmick's probably their best jumper. They don't have anyone that, like, jumps out of the gym exactly. But they just have a really consistent front line there. And Isabel McCready's done a really good job stepping in as setter. A big one for Fairfield. Now, that's a 3-1 SEC win. And the Trojans are now 5-2. They have only lost those 2 to Mount Pleasant. Interestingly enough, Fairfield will be back against Waco again on Thursday. Fairfield, Waco, New London, Cardinal, all at the Waco tournament. Another Waco tournament. Waco just likes putting on these early season tournaments. So I have to look at the schedule. But that might be your thing, Jack, on Thursday. I have to figure that out for you here.
There you go.
Because I'll be on my way all the way up north to Minnesota. Mount Pleasant, 0-1 in conference. The other 2, Fairfield and Washington, at 1-0. Why don't I look how Burlington and Keokuk did? I guess you already said that Burlington won, right? 3-0 last night. Burlington, 25-19, 25-22, 25-17. By the way, Burlington, their only loss is to the ranked Mid-Prairie Golden Hawks, who, I bet if you're not a Mid-Prairie fan, during fall sports, prep sports pluses, you're like, oh my gosh, they keep talking about Mid-Prairie. But Mid-Prairie, reminder, ranked number 1 in girls cross country, ranked top 5 in volleyball, and going to be ranked top 5 in football. So whether you like it or you don't like it, learn to love it, because it's the best thing going, as Ric Flair used to say that. We got some big volleyball coming up. I mean, it's just the tip of the iceberg. When we come back, some big news in the sport of cross country. And then Jack and I just bashed my elbow against the wall. Jack and I are going to give our official Super Bowl picks. Stick with us.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
At Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you to that dream vacation with a savings account designed to help get you on the flight there. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
Hey, you want to see something really scary?
3, chills, and things that go bump in the night. The Russians' House of Terror. Family-friendly Halloween treat. Visit the Midwest Haunted Rail. Unlimited rides on the Ghost Train, trolley, and carousel, blow-ups, and carnival ride, all for one low price. Kids 4 and under free. Scare up some fun at Midwest Haunted Rails, McMillan Park, Mount Pleasant.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Welcome back, Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus. Andy Kretzinger, Jack Nolan, Peter Camp, AJP, PAJ, whatever. I was going to try and do
Agent Peter.
I'll tell you what, I was thinking about doing
we love that.
nickname with the first letters of our first. I did love that. The first letters of our first name, and then it wasn't working out, so I was like, I'll go to the last name. Not going to go to the last names, I'll tell you that. Anyway, we'll talk a little high school cross country now. So last night got a text from Ben Lamprick of the Central Iowa Union. He was at the Williamsburg cross country meet last night, and it was the season debut for a couple of huge stories in girls cross country. Let me start with the team scores. The winner. Holy cow. The winner of the team score in Williamsburg last night with a score of 29, of course, cross country, you're trying to get low. Score of 29, Mid-Prairie Golden Hawks. Second and third place, 77 and 79, respectively.
Jeez.
Mid-Prairie, second, third, and fourth with Brooklyn Stutzman, Rachel Hostetler, Kendall Landstrom, Tessa Brokaw got seventh. Rebecca Wellington got 13th. These guys, Mid-Prairie last year was like ranked 6th or something.
Hannah Rogers, top 22, 19th.
Yeah, Hannah Rogers, top 20, 19th. These girls were like ranked 6th. They were all freshman and sophomore last year. We thought, oh, this is going to be the year that Mid-Prairie kind of takes a little step back in girls cross country just because they're all young. Went ahead and won the state championship, and they are favorites this year. But I mentioned second, third, and fourth. The winner individually, and welcome your first mention on this show. Probably not the first mention on the show, but the first mention in high school. On the show, Mount Pleasant freshman Avery Fedler. 19 minutes and 7 seconds. We have watched her in the middle school races that they do before the varsity races win by like 1 million. People said, oh, watch out, this kid is the real deal. And coming in, winning the Williamsburg meet is a real deal type move. That actually helped Mount Pleasant as a team get 6th. Quintry Lee, one of the best SEC runners last year for Mount Pleasant, a sophomore, she got 11th. So look at that. Oh, don't you do it. This guy can't stop Mark. He
goes.
Look at him. Oh, whoops. I got blurred. Do you like my white balance, by the way? Just putting my hand in front of it?
Yeah, that's well done.
I'm still blurry. Oh, my goodness.
15 seconds faster for Avery Fedler, too, over Brooklyn Stutzman for Mid-Prairie, and 2 years younger than the junior for the Golden Hawks. Like,
yeah,
that is ridiculously impressive for a freshman to be able to come out and lay down that time in her debut. So, yeah, I'm probably going to be mentioning her name for a while in the SEC. That'll be a shakeup in the SEC meets.
Yeah, check this out. So in the SEC girls race, you already have 2 girls, Avery Runt from Fort Massillon and Iris Dahl from Washington, who have placed at the state meet. Now there's a good freshman class coming in. So the first time the SEC will all run together, I think it's next week in Fairfield, where they're all going against each other. But it is a story to behold. SEC cross country is going to be wild this year. On the boys' side, oops, almost accidentally read off the middle school boys. Ha ha ha. On the boys' side, I'm going to say it one more time as I scroll down. On the boys' side, Mid-Prairie 8th, Mount Pleasant 9th. The top runner for our area, Max Schwartzentruber, younger brother of Emmett Schwartzentruber, who just graduated, who was a state champion for Mid-Prairie. He got 6th. Silas Hewlett from Mount Pleasant, 10th. Nice run for him. That's a junior over there. So a couple of our more talented juniors I'm just rolling down this thing. Reese Waters, 34th for Mid-Prairie. Ben Leishman, 48th for Mount Pleasant. So not quite as high up as the girls scorers, but there you go with some little Mount Pleasant Mid-Prairie going neck and neck. Our two MP schools. Grinnell won that one with 45 points, by the way. So that's a little start.
Another blowout, by the way, for Grinnell. 45 in first. PCM Monroe 108 in second. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have it's crazy when you get a cross country team that you see. It was when Mid-Prairie girls were middle schoolers, because the middle school happens before the varsity, so it's really the one sport where we see a lot of middle school action. And I would see like 7 Mid-Prairie girls before the next girl. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, these guys are going to be amazing. They're probably going to win state the second they walk into high school. And that's exactly what they did. By the way, not our only winner, by the way, because speaking of Iris Dahl, she won at Washington's first meet. Now, Anamosa, Washington went to Anamosa. They got third. Iris Dahl won. And another freshman, Cora Miller, got third. Emma Horak, 12th. And the girls and the boys, Andrew Reese got 5th for the boys. So there you go. Those are 3 Washington girls who have finished really high up. Dahl and then Cora Miller, a freshman coming in. Mentioned Fedler, Kentry Lee also. So it's going to be very fast for girls cross country this year. Not even mentioning the fact that we have a state champion, probably one of the best teams in the entire state, maybe number 1 in the entire state this year with Mid-Prairie. So we'll be home early enough for the football games, Jack.
There we go.
That's good news. They're going to have to be, oh man, some of those, when you try and interview like the winner or whatever, you like to let them wait, through. And those are going to be early interviews because all the Mid-Prairie kids are just going to be finished in 2 seconds. So,
right.
You ever run any cross country, Jack?
I did actually. Briefly in middle school. I would have ran in high school, but it was at the same. I played soccer in high school, and they were at the same. Oh. They were in the same season, so I couldn't do cross country. But I did run in middle school. I wasn't bad. I'll pat myself on the back.
We need to.
I enjoy running.
Our publisher Matt runs. He once won the Key Wash Washington 5K the first year they did it. So my wife's also a runner. Not me. Actually, fun fact, I've been defeated in a 5K by my dog and my unborn child.
Wow.
Different races, yeah, because my dog ran with my wife for one of them when he was a puppy, beat me. And then she ran while she's pregnant one time, beat me.
Wow, that's impressive. Running,
that is impressive.
Running while you're pregnant is incredible.
That is. So, yeah, she was a college runner. And so, yeah, I mean, so this dog right here, he wiped me out when he was a puppy. I don't know if he'd probably still murder me today, even though he's an old dog. All right. I've been trying to think of Super Bowl picks. I'm going to let you go first, Jack, because I still have what are you feeling this year?
Okay.
I want Peter to make one too.
Okay. Full disclosure, I don't feel like I have a grasp on this season. Like, it kind of feels like a crapshoot. It once again, the easy thing to do for me is to just take Chiefs Eagles again, but that's so boring and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I am going to say I'm torn between who I think breaks through this year between the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC. I am going to pick Lamar Jackson and co. and the Ravens. I think you have another monster season from Derrick Henry, and I think the Ravens do it. Their defense is a little bit sketchy, but I'm going to have them break through. I think Lamar has another super season, wins MVP, takes them to the Super Bowl in the AFC. Then on the NFC side of things, instead of the Eagles, because again, I'm going to be different, I think my pick is probably going to end up being the Eagles officially. But again, just to have some fun, how about a little upstart, underrated, maybe one of the best teams of the 2020s so far? If you think about, they've been to the playoffs almost every year. They have a Super Bowl. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Baltimore Ravens in a little just, Yeah, I love Bucky Irving. I think they are going to have one of the best rookies in the NFL this year at the wide receiver position. His name is Emeka Egbuka. You guys are both Big Ten fans. You know who that is.
Love
He's
him.
very good.
I have Bucky, Emeka. Well, I have all those players on my
I like Baker Mayfield. I like their defense. I think they're going to be able to replace Liam Cohen at offensive coordinator. My other two kind of teams that I want to pick other than the Eagles are the Packers and the Rams, but I don't want to pick either of them to go to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to pick Buccaneers.
I'm a little nervous about the Packers. I don't want that. I'm a Bears fan, but it's hard because the Bears are really, you know what? Can I just say, Chicago Bears fan wearing a shirt right now? Bears are kind of an unlikable team. And I want us to play into that. I want us to play into that this year. I've never been a Caleb Williams believer at all. But I'm going to have to. And I tried to force myself by drafting DJ Moore. There goes Jack. But that doesn't really matter because Peter is still here. And you know what, Peter? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, big dog.
Oh, uh-oh. What
Hello?
happened?
No, you're good. I think Jack's computer died.
Jolt. We got Jolt on the video, and now I can see his face.
That's my nickname. I forgot I set my Zoom as that. Wait, I can change it. I joined on my phone. I'm sorry. Unprofessional. My computer died.
Is that Jack plus Knowlton as Jolt?
Yeah.
Yes. That was a fast getting back on if your computer died and you had to use a different thing. Jolt and Jack is here. He's got, so who's going to win, Ravens and Buccaneers? Oh, and there's Peter.
I'll go with the Ravens. I'm going with the Ravens.
It's a T. My screen is a T right now because Jack is he's vertical and then all three of us across.
That's true.
So he's going to Ravens. What do you think, Peter?
Let's be crazy. Can we be crazy? Let's
be crazy.
Bills will win the Super Bowl over the. Let's just go with. Or no, let's go with New Orleans.
What?
New Orleans. Wow,
that's
probably the last.
Did they do this for the finals too?
No, I went real for the finals. I think I chose.
You went.
That's not
the Celtics over Thunder. I think is what I went.
New Orleans isn't real.
New Orleans could be real. Okay, fine. I'll go Green Bay. Bills over Green Bay.
Bills over Green Bay. I would love to see them lose the Super Bowl. By the way, hey, can you guys workshop a joke with me really quick before I give my pick? Because I'm doing this wedding, and would it be funny or stupid? The last time that I did any sort of preaching was at halftime of a Super Bowl party at my Christian college, and the Packers won that year. So I thought about saying the last time I did one of these. Nice, Jack.
Space.
I thought about saying the last time I did one of these, the Packers won the Super Bowl, and I'm not willing to take that chance again, and they're just walking off for a while, making people think I wasn't going to do the wedding.
So last time you officiated a wedding, the Packers won the Super Bowl?
I didn't officiate a wedding. I was doing the sermon at a Super Bowl party I went to a Baptist college. So.
Oh, okay.
Problematic, especially back then. Problematic halftime shows. So
yeah, you could just be like, last time I gave any sort of speech, the Green Bay Packers won the Super Bowl. I'm not willing to take that chance again. I wonder if you could you get somebody else to get in on it with you and be like, I'm calling in a substitute speaker and have them come up and give a fake 5-second little spiel.
Oh, and then they'd be like, the last time I did one of these, my wife left me, and then they walk off. That would be a good idea. Oh. All right, I like it. Okay, so I just want to make sure that anyone was vibing with this and that I wasn't gonna. I might do that.
That could be a good. Yeah, you can get a good bit if you get maybe one of the groomsmen, if you know them, step up and have them do that, and then walk back to their spot and just look at the floor. And
I like that. By the way, I think I've figured out my pick.
Uh-oh.
I think I figured out my.
Are you gonna put on headgear?
That would have been.
It's not so fast, my friend.
I don't think I have anything that works. I used to have a Pittsburgh Steelers helmet because I was a football player when I was a little kid, and we could only find a Steelers helmet. But that would be even more fun. Oh my gosh! Yep. All right, here we go. Ready for this?
I'm
ready for this? I'm ready to make my pick.
Let's hear it.
It's an all Pennsylvania Super Bowl between the Eagles and the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers' last throw as a professional athlete is a Cooper DeJean walk-off pick six in the Super Bowl.
Back-to-back Cooper DeJean pick sixes, which is wildly enough not the craziest part of that pick.
Yeah, I know. That was possibly the greatest moment of my life. Cooper DeJean pick six.
That was pretty electric. So you think the Steelers are going to go to the Super Bowl?
I'm going to pick the Steelers. And why? Because of Caleb Johnson. And I don't know. The Steelers are just kind of that weird team that just shows up every once in a while. Maybe without the
they could make the playoffs.
Didn't Pat Fryermuth go to Iowa too?
Penn State, big dog.
Oh yeah, you're right. He
didn't. He was one of the tight ends I don't respect because they didn't go to Iowa. Yeah, there you go. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers' last throw, pick six in overtime.
Overtime.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Wow.
Yeah, he's going to say we're going to get the ball and we're going to score.
Our next show after the Super Bowl if that happens.
Thank you. That's I like that. I will if that happens, if my prediction is completely true, I will go to Home Depot and get the tallest ladder they have. And if they don't have that tall of a ladder, I will get multiple ladders and put them together. I will do the show on the top of the Mount Pleasant water tower that overlooks the city.
All right.
I definitely can't do that, but I'm for it.
Can you get workers?
All right.
Is that how that works?
No, definitely not.
Oh.
You're not allowed to go on a water tower? No, I know people that can get me up there.
Oh, okay.
I
won't worry about it. Plus, technology's going so fast. It'll at least be good enough to where I could do a realistic AI of me doing it. So, anyway,
I like it.
I think that's all I got. Everyone have fun. First full weekend of football. It's gonna be awesome.
Be great. Football
That's
every
it.
day
Obi
up
March
until Tuesday
ready.
next week. So it's 5 straight days of football.
5 straight days of football.
Thursday night
5
football,
straight days.
Friday night Brazil. Then you got college. Then you got NFL. Then you got Monday night.
And Monday night, Washington Mid-Prairie Volleyball on the Southeast Iowa Media Network.
And they play Tuesday as well.
Yes.
And Tuesday.
Oh my goodness. There is. I mean, listen. If you're a high school sports fan, you got from now on. It's just all in. You have football every Friday. There's not going to be a week where there is not at least one super fun football game. There's probably going to be like 10 every week. You've got volleyball, conference volleyball for the SEC, for the Super Conference, North and South, for the River Valley Sickle, for the SCC. All has kicked off or is going to kick off. Cross country. It's a thrill. You know what? It's a thrill to be here. All of us together, not just the three of us, but everybody watching. And everybody that works at Fairway Food Stores.
Thank you, Fairway.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fairway.
We will see them. When will we see them, Peter?
We will see them next week.
Next week.